I give you guys a huge trigger warning because this entire video is going to be about SA and Mia testifying about how Diddy R-worded her on multiple occasions and how the first time it happened was at his 40th birthday party. Yes, his children were at this party. Yes, Cassie was at this birthday party. Mia testified how that didn't stop him from doing what he did to her and how she never told anybody about any of the assaults and wanted to take it to her grave. In fact, she didn't even tell the prosecutors when she first met with them until she had her own attorney. During her testimony, it was said that Mia was crying uncontrollably. There were times where she was whispering, and even I was tearing up reading this, but let's get into it. As I said, the first time it happened was at his 40th birthday party at the Plaza Hotel, and she had only been working as his personal assistant for a few months. It was 2009. He called her into the kitchen and cleared the room and then poured 2 vodka shots for the both of them. She said she took the shots and it hit her hard, and usually she can take them pretty easily. My eyes couldn't focus. His face was closed. He put his arm up the side of my dress and he kissed me. Did you want him to? She said no. Were you able to say no? I was shocked. I froze. I didn't process what was happening. Next thing I knew, it was morning and I was in a chair in the penthouse. Diddy has so many lawsuits against him where people have accused him of doing stuff like this, and this is the first time someone's testifying to it, and it only gets worse from here. She said she had looked at Diddy as a boss or a king, and her expectation was it was a one-time thing, it would never happen again. She talked about a time where he made her feel uncomfortable because she was told to carry his bags to his room, and downstairs was Uncle Paulie. He said, I brought the bags. He asked me to pull up something on his computer. He came and sat next to me, leaned over me as if he was to put his face in the computer, like in an uncomfortable way. She said she pretended like she needed to go to the bathroom and left the room. Next time he R-worded her was at the Beverly Grove house in LA. It was 2009 or 2010 and she was sleeping on the bottom bunk, and as you know, she wasn't allowed to lock her door. I woke up to the weight of a person on top of me. It was Puff. At this point, her voice was breaking and she said that he undid his pants and R-worded her. She said, I just froze. It was very quick, but it felt like forever. She said, but he wouldn't leave a job unfinished. And then they said, is this when it would end? And she said, yes. She said the next time was at his Beverly Crest house and she was in his bedroom closet putting stuff in his bag. He entered the closet, exposed himself, and then forced her to do oral. By force, she means he grabbed her head and made her do it. She was sobbing as she said, I was frozen. I didn't do anything. And the prosecutor said, how did you feel? And she said, like trash, scared and ashamed. How long did it last? And she said it was very fast. Mia said the assaults were sporadic and spaced out, so it was very hard to predict when it would happen. She said they often occurred when Cassie wasn't around. There was another incident where she had a really dark feeling and she was on his private jet. He said everyone was asleep and by the bathroom there was a bed. I went by and he was standing right there. I tried to make it about other people who might see or hear, but it didn't work. She felt helpless. I had lost some layer of protection. I wasn't safe. She was terrified. When asked if she ever told him no, she said I couldn't even tell him no about a sandwich. She feared if she said no to him that he would know that I thought what he was doing was wrong. I didn't want to lose everything I'd worked so hard for. This was the only world I had anymore. I would never work in that industry again if she said anything. And physically, she feared that she would be attacked and said, I don't want to die. At one point, he even threatened her that he'd tell Cassie, saying he'd tell Cassie I was involved. I felt desperate, trapped, terrified, like it was my fault. When asked if she told anyone, she said, no, I was going to die with this. I would be humiliated and never work again. When asked if others spoke up, she said Kayla Faulkner, and she found out about it because there was an urgent call among film people. The call was with HR C-suite executives, and Mia was told that if Kayla sued, Mia would have to testify. If Mia had to testify, she was told to say that Kayla was drinking and punched Mia in the face, and that is why Kayla was fired. Is that why she was fired? No, it was because she complained. When else were you told you'd have to testify by Diddy's team? And she said, after Capricorn Clark. Did you testify? And she said no. When asked why she didn't go to the police about Diddy SAing her multiple times, she said, I saw what his power could do. She said one time she was speeding. I hadn't had time to get my license renewed. It was the only time I name dropped and I told her I worked for Diddy and she said, get him on the phone. I did, and she laughed saying, oh, Puff Daddy, I love you. When asked if she got a ticket, she said no. When asked why she didn't tell the prosecutors about the SA when they first met, she said it's the most shameful thing of my life. Asked if she wanted to be talking about this, she said no, and said that the only reason she's testifying is because she was asked. Everything Mia testified to today, they will continue tomorrow, and she will have cross-examination with Brian Steele, which kind of has me nervous, and I hope he goes easy on her.